AskReddit buy 2 cigarettes. What makes you cringe every time you hear it come out of somebody's mouth? Do you know who I am? So many years ago I worked at a cheap common British pub, with the unique garish carpets and name that sounds like with her spoon, and we'd called last orders. Slightly drunk guy comes up and asks for a pint, and does the whole "do you know who I am" shit when I tell him we closed. Naturally I say no and I don't really care, and ended up having a fun time cleaning up his and his friend's mess once they stumble out. 2 weeks later I get asked to cover at another pub of the same company for a week as they are down a manager. I was my pub's go-to for covering other pubs, and on the second day of covering I clock in, only to see "Emma, do you know who I am" stood behind the bar serving customers. It was quite fun sneaking up on him saying "I do know who you are now." He did apologize for being a nuisance, bought me a couple drinks, and turned out to be a pretty cool guy, so I didn't report the incident to his manager. But every time I saw him come into my pub I'd say "I still know who you are." Anytime someone says the phrase "but they're family," you always gotta have family or some other variation when that family member has done the most vile thing to you. Why is it that simply because a person is related to you, they're allowed to get away with the most fucked up stuff? So what if they're family? Why should that excuse anything? No one wants to work anymore. I'm just gonna instantly assume you're an idiot. No one wants to work for you anymore. When a guy refers to himself as an alpha male or high value male and is serious, I always go to the software definition of alpha when people say things like that. Buggy, unstable and not fit for public use. It applies perfectly more often than not. Suppose, be, lie. Pacific instead of specific. I'm an empath. I bet you are. Duckling. I bet you are. I can't quite explain why, but describing yourself as an empath feels almost exactly like bragging about being humble. It feels fundamentally contradictory somehow. Corporate catchphrases. Circle back, get my feet wet, hit the ground running. Working in a corporate setting has taught me that 90% of meetings are just higher ups spewing buzzwords and not saying anything at all. You should smile more. Good vibes only is in this spirit. I'll vibe as I goddamn please. Money cannot buy happiness, the biggest lie my parents ever told. Money not be able to buy happiness, but it would take care of 90% of my current problems, which would make me very happy. So you have to pay for that. You have to have pants on to be in here. Not coming out of somebody's mouth, but whenever I come across a post that says, "I bet I won't get a single like," just post your picture and move on. Don't go trolling for sympathy. It's embarrassing for everybody. My boss uses chagrin incorrectly, as a compliment. Not sure which word he does mean though. Please use it in a sentence for us. Is he like "you did a chagrin job," or more like "Celeste, your hair is so chagrin"? Everything happens for a reason. I had a miscarriage last month, and the number of people who have said that to me has been disturbingly high. I want to brusquely ask, and what reason is that? When someone innocently says false information and people automatically accuse them of gaslighting. Gaslighting in general is the hot new fad, and it's irritating how often it's misused. Trad wife, whiffy material, alpha male, body count, what do you bring to the table? All of these are stupid and I hate them. High value male, get out. If you know you know. I fucking don't. Now let me in on the details. I could care less. You mean you couldn't care less? Jesus Christ, there are so many examples of this type of mistake and they all drive me insane. Everyone is a little bit autistic. ADHD isn't real. You're just lazy. Using both AM and in the morning, or PM and at night. For example, I had to wake up at 5 AM in the morning. That's redundant. Pick one, please. ATM machine. Unpack in a presentation or sermon. I would like to piggyback on that statement, and let's table that discussion for now. I'm so OCD, this one irks me every time. Nobody owes you. It is true, but it is a shitty card to pull if you say it to avoid reciprocating. Nobody has ever said it to me, but it's not my job to educate you is just awful emo. The difference between apart and how many use them wrong. And should have, it doesn't even make sense. And every time I see it when people mention they live in a country where English is the native language makes me think, why do I know it's wrong and you don't? People misusing apart is the most hilarious thing to me because they are antonyms. I'm glad to be a part of this group when they meant to say apart, like okay yeah we don't like you either lol. When moms talk about how no one will ever be good enough for their little baby boy or how their sons will always love them first and more than anyone else. I'd say the same about dads, but I've only ever seen this talk come from moms. I have a co-worker who posts pictures of her 8-year-old son with the hashtag #PermanentBoyfriend. I've done my research. Translation: they found biased articles on the internet to support what they already believe. Most likely a YouTube video.